With all of the weapon meta changes at the Season 6 update, we now have some really weird best gun combinations in Apex. Last season, it was almost a fantasy to have like a Hemlock and a triple take a part of the very best and most elite gun combos in Apex. I've played a decent amount of Season 6 so far, so in this video, I'm gonna go over the very best gun combinations in Season 6 that I have used so far. I'm gonna be talking about these combos and what their advantages and disadvantages are, and then I'm also gonna be giving it a rating out of 10. The rating out of 10 isn't gonna be super technical, but it's gonna give you guys a good idea of what I think about that gun combination and its pros and cons. I really hope you enjoy, and it'd be really cool if you comment below a gun combination that you have found to be really good in Season 6. I'm Alarmix, and let's get into the video. So my friends, the first combination that I found to be really good in Season 6 that I'm gonna talk about first is the Devotion and the triple take. If I'm not mistaken, it's been a little while since we've had an LMG that's totally in the meta. If you are using the Devotion, I really don't think you need a close range or long range gun to support it, because the Devotion, it can do a little bit of both close and long range. So for example, if you're using an SMG, you're probably going to want an AR to support the SMG, but if you're using the Devotion, you can use really whatever other gun with it. I think that leaves room to use a really unversatile weapon that's good in a certain situation, such as the Mastiff or the triple take. I think it's kind of insane how in the meta the triple take is. I can't believe they gave it the buffs that they did at the Season 6 update. Also, another reason this is such a good gun combo is because with the Devotion, you can't really peek corners because it kind of takes time to res up. The Devotion is kind of the opposite of a corner peeking weapon, such as the Mastiff. So in these situations, it's going to be pretty okay to use the triple take to peek. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I think the Devotion and triple take is kind of a weird and dream gun combination. It's just so good. As far as a rating out of 10 goes, I'm going to have to give this right about a 9.5, I think. Sometimes if you're running two SMGs, you're going to go through ammo so fast and it's going to be hard to find enough ammo, but I think the triple take, it's decently ammo efficient. Now I'm on to the next combo that we're going to talk about. This is the Volt and Hemlock. The Hemlock is pretty insane with its buffs in Season 6. It's a pretty top tier weapon, and the Volt, as you guys should also know, it's pretty top tier. The thing is pretty solid, but the only big complaint I have about the Volt is when I'm using it at that mid range, it's kind of hard on ammo. So if your teammates are using a bunch of energy weapons, you know, like the Havoc, the Devo, and the Volt also, you're probably going to want to prioritize using the Hemlock more than the Volt, or you can also use the Prowler and Hemlock. I'm not too sure if all of you guys saw, but I recently put up a community post on my channel talking about a Respawn developer that confirmed that the Prowler, it does have a faster time to kill than the Volt, but you know, obviously the Volt is going to be more accurate than the Prowler. The intention of this post was not to prove that, you know, the Prowler is better than the Volt. I'm just saying that the Prowler, it's going to be better in close range, but it's not going to be quite as accurate in most cases. But if you fight a Prowler and a Volt in close range, you know, most of the time the person with the Prowler should win, but once you get to closer to medium range, then the guy with the Volt, you know, should win that engagement. So my personal opinion is it comes down to picking your poison. Are you going to choose the Prowler and going to choose to get into really close range and pretty much out DPS anybody, or are you going to choose the Volt and choose more accuracy, and once you get to a little bit closer to medium range, you know, just end up not missing many bullets and killing people with the Volt? So I think the Volt and Hemlock is going to be an absolute excellent loadout, but if your teammates are using a bunch of energy weapons, I think it is really not going to hurt you to use the Prowler. Just the Volt and Hemlock, the rating on that, I mean, it's such a solid loadout. You know, you can dominate at pretty much any range. The only time you're really going to get outgunned is if you fight a Prowler or Mastiff or maybe even a Devo in close range. So I think overall, the rating on the Volt and Hemlock, I'm going to have to give this a 9.3 out of 10. I mean, it's so close. It could be even better than the last loadout. You know, it's so neck and neck at this point. The only reason I'm going to rank this loadout just slightly lower than the last loadout is because the Hemlock and Volt can eat through a lot of bullets, and especially the Prowler and Hemlock. I think in a loadout, it's ideal to have some sort of sniper, wingman, or Mastiff, something that doesn't take a lot of ammo that you can resort to if your squad is just kind of running low on ammo. So an example of a loadout that would have something like a Mastiff, sniper, or wingman is the Flatline and Mastiff. I find this to be such a dominant loadout. Even last season, I loved this loadout. The Flatline is going to be great at medium range, and once you get to closer range, you can quite easily headshot people for 2 times damage with the Flatline. And the Flatline being the very versatile weapon that it is, it kind of leaves room for a weapon that really isn't super versatile, that dominates in a certain range, and this gun for me is going to be the Mastiff. With the Mastiff, you're never really dead, even if you're low on health, because you can kind of camp in a corner that will only allow the enemies to get into close range. And I've had so many times that I just completely dominate with the Mastiff in close range. Like, the reason the Mastiff isn't technically, you know, a top 3 weapon is just because it's pretty horribly unversatile. But if you pair the Mastiff with a weapon that is versatile, like, your loadout will be absolutely smashing. I mean, I don't know, people, my mouth is just kind of frothing or whatever, just thinking about the flatline and Mastiff. It's just so beautiful. My peeps, the double SMG loadout this season is going to be the Prowler and the Volt. Last season, I was a pretty big fan of the Prowler and the R99. If I ran out of light or heavy ammo, I didn't really have to stress because I was still going to dominate in close range. The Prowler with the select fire at mid-range, it, you know, fulfilled that kind of R301 role, and then the Burst Prowler dominated in extreme close range. This season, I think the Volt and the Prowler are pretty similar. I think the Volt is going to be more for that mid-range, and then the Prowler is just going to be for that extreme close range. So if you get into a really close quarters battle, even if you fight 3 members of another squad, you can use your Burst Prowler, and if need be, you can swap over to the Volt and absolutely dominate with that thing. I think the double SMG loadout just kind of adds some versatility versus using just a double Volt or a double Prowler. If you beam someone at mid-range with the Volt, you can swap over to a full auto Prowler and finish it off. Or if you're in close range, you can use the Burst Prowler first, which is going to do just a little bit more DPS, and then if you don't actually kill everybody, you can still swap over to the Volt. The double SMG loadout of Season 6, I'm going to give this an overall rating of 8.8. It's going to take a lot of bullets to make this thing go, but if you can get them, it's going to be absolutely awesome. You're not going to have really any super long range options. The Volt kind of uses so much energy ammo if you try to use it at long range, but you know, it works. But my peeps, now I'm going to talk about the ultimate ammo efficient loadout. This is the Wingman and the Mastiff. The Mastiff and Wingman is going to be one of the hardest gun combinations to use in Season 6, but if you can master it, it's easily going to be one of the very best. The Wingman is going to be that really versatile weapon to support the Mastiff that you can use at mid and mid/close range. When my squad is really struggling to get enough ammo, that's when I like to pick up weapons like the Mastiff and the Wingman. So if you happen to be at any sort of ammo struggling moment, using this loadout will completely solve it almost. My peeps, make sure to comment a gun combination that you have found to be super good in Season 6. I mean, me people, a gun combination that I found to be personally pretty good, but I don't think it's really one of the best, is just like a Wingman and a Hammerpoint P20 or Mozambique. I don't really talk about the Hammerpoint pistols on this channel, but you know, when you get a hold of them and another weapon that can crack shields really well, you know, it's gonna be absolutely amazing. But people, what I think is gonna be the best gun combo in Season 6 of Apex Legends, I think this is going to be the Mastiff and the Volt. The Volt, as you know, and as I've been preaching this entire video, it's gonna be super versatile. You can beam people at pretty much any range except for extreme long range. Using the Volt at long range is gonna use a lot of ammo, but just one stack of shotgun ammo is gonna last you pretty much the entire match in most cases with the Mastiff. I remember one random comment in the past, someone talking about with the Mastiff, you should use it to play defensively. If you somehow can't get enough energy ammo going in your inventory, the Mastiff is gonna be one of the best defensive weapons in the game, especially if you're in a building. Once you get into a good range to use the Mastiff, it's gonna be probably the best and most damaging gun in the game, but the thing is that doesn't always happen. So the Volt and the Mastiff are just gonna end up being such a beautiful weapon combo in Season 6. I love using this weapon loadout. Even though I think it seems like I've been bashing the Volt recently on the channel, this is my go-to combo in Season 6. I'm gonna give this combo an overall rating of 9.8 out of 10. This loadout is pretty versatile, but when you get into the right range, this is absolutely going to dominate. It is gonna be so hard to beat. If you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, it'd be super cool if you go below this video and hit that subscribe button. Make sure to give me a gun combo in the comments below, people. It really helps out the video so much. Every single comment helps people, I swear. And people, that'll be about it for me, the Alarmix, and I hope to see you in another video.